Hey, Larry Elder here. Thank you for listening to the Bucky Dillon Show, hosted by the Liberty Revolt and KHNC.
Friday night was literally runs away from the border crisis, and YouTube takes Trump's CPAC speech off the internet. This is the Bucky Dillon Show. Welcome. I'm your host, Bucky Dillon, and this is a collaborative between myself and the free-thinking, freedom-loving patriot community right here in northern Colorado, tuning in on the radio broadcast 1360 AM. So great to be with you. I'm watching the sunrise like I do every morning, and it sure is beautiful here in Johnstown. I want to just go over last Friday night's event again for the people who aren't just now tuning in on their morning drive, hopefully to work. We had, maybe almost 60 people show up. We sold a tremendous amount of CBD and silver. The food was delicious. A huge thank you to Cafe Athens for providing it. If you guys want to fight back against the cancel culture, how we do that is by supporting businesses that have the balls to support us. So swoop through Cafe Athens and Centera next time you're in the area and let them know that KHNC sent you. Particularly let the manager or the owner know that KHNC sent you, and thank them for being a part of our great patriot community. This upcoming event, this Friday night from 5 to 9, we will be having the open forum hosts, Rick Rodriguez and Steve Stars, giving a speech. Steve Stars is no longer doing the open forum. However, he does still support the radio station. He does still listen and try to find ways of being involved. So he's going to be here and giving a presentation. If you haven't heard these gentlemen speak before, you can go to the KHNC website, and when you're not looking through our CBD wares, you can check out the podcast section where you will find the open forums. Rick and Steve both have a wealth of knowledge in areas that most Americans are wholly unaware of. So, if you're interested in some really deep, interesting, sometimes terrifying, conspiratorial or whatever you want to call it, topics, these guys can really, really entertain you, and it's pretty informative, fun stuff. So check it out this Friday. Subway right here in Johnstown is going to be hosting the event, providing the food. So stop down at Subway and get a sandwich and thank them for making the food possible. We sure do appreciate it. And it was nice to put faces to the voices that call into my radio show on a pretty regular basis. I got to meet so many of my listeners, and it really was cool. Man, I had a great long conversation with John. He is such a cool guy. He's got such an enthusiasm for life and a love for people and a love for God and a love for our country. So, and God bless him. He's doing a beef barbecue cookout in honor of Jared Polis's urge for Coloradans to have a vegetarian day. So in response to that, we are instead having a beef cook-off Saturday, March 20th on his ranch in Wellington. The first 25 pounds of beef will be free. After that, bring your own, and he will happily cook it up for you. He's a really, really great guy. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be giving a speech. And it should Just come Friday, and then come on Saturday. Okay. The call-in number 970-587-5171. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're up to today. Let's hop right into it. So, as you guys know, we have an unprecedented immigration crisis at the border. And Democrat lawmakers, of course, Biden administration, purposely withholding the number of migrants being released into the U.S. Representative Henry Cuellar slammed the Biden administration for how it is handling the unfolding border crisis and alleged that it is purposely withholding information on the number of migrants being released into the U.S. When asked during the interview to react to numbers showing the border is overwhelmed, Seller, whose congressional district is on the border, said the administration was not releasing the full numbers of how many migrants are being released. I'm reading this from a Daily Wire article here. Yeah, look, we can play with words. Is that a challenge or is it a crisis? Let's look at the numbers. Since August of last year, the numbers have been increasing, he said. And especially October, November, December, we were hitting 70,000. In January, we had 78,000. This is, again, under the Trump administration, now moving into the Biden administration. Biden might not have started under Trump. Biden might have started under Trump, but when you're president, you own the situation, whether it's a success or not a success. I think in February, we're going to hit at least 100,000. And again, I don't care what we call it, but I can tell you this, those numbers of people that are being released, they're purposely withholding that information, he continued. They've been told not to withhold that information. I now know that they're bringing people from McAllen over to Laredo, processing them in Laredo, and they're going to release them in my community. I represent the both areas, the valley, and of course, part of the valley in Loretto. And I've seen this before. Don't let the local community know what you're doing, where you're striving to bring people in from the valley, process them in Loretto, release them at the bus station. And again, I've seen this before in the past. Ridiculous. You're listening to the Bucky Dillon Show.
Did the insurance company divorce your mountain house? Then call Affordable Tree Service North at 970-568-6898. We have over 50 years combined experience in fire mitigation. Let us climb, cut, trim, haul your worries away. We know brokers who specialize in mountain property, and we don't hire no snowflakes. Oh, God, Mickey. Hey, you're not in this commercial. Again, call Affordable Tree Service at 970-568-6898. That's 568-6898.
Do you ever wake up and feel like there should be someone to run your errands? We want to get things done, but just don't have enough time. Many of us hire concierge services like dog walkers or food and grocery delivery. Why should your insurance needs be any different? At Badger Insurance Advisors, we act as your concierge for all things insurance, pairing quotes and prices, and recommending the best insurance for your needs. Call or text us today at 303-359-1799 or check us out at badgerinsuranceadvisors.com.
It is not because men have made laws that life, liberty, and property exist. On the contrary, it is because life, liberty, and property existed beforehand that men made laws in the first place. What then is law? It is the collective organization of the individual right to lawful defense and punishing injustice. Frederick Bastiat, The Law.
By now, you know how good CBD can be for you. But here's some things CBD can't help you with. Those annoying calls about your car's warranty expiring, gay frogs, or racist cows, climate coaches, or that undying devotion to Alex Jones. This has been a friendly reminder from your friends at 1360 KHNC, the roar of the Rockies.
So this is from another article. The Biden administration allows child migrant detention centers to open at 100% capacity, eyes giving them a new name. Because, of course, come up with a name that sounds nice and soft and friendly. Otherwise, their Democrat constituents aren't just going to fall for it like they always do. The Biden administration is reportedly allowing detention facilities for migrant children to open at 100% as the border crisis continues to intensify. The move, which was reportedly approved by the Centers for Disease Control, scraps the previous guidance that dictated that detention facilities could only be occupied at 50% in order to practice social distancing due to the coronavirus pandemic. The fact that the country's premier health advisory agency is permitting a change in COVID-19 protocol indicates the scale of the immigration crisis, Axios reporters. Shelters have been receiving an average of 321 children per day, up from 47 per day the first week of January, and expect to need 20,000 beds to accommodate. Testing, 1, 2. Whoa. Hang on, guys. We're having issues here. Testing, 1, 2. All right. I'm back in the other room, but I no longer have my source I was reading from here, so we're going to try to get hop back on that. $321 migrant children a day. Can you believe this? See, this is the failure of Democratic policies, where they're far more concerned with optics than they are with actually implementing effective, humane policy. It's not humane to incentivize the kind of behavior that we're seeing. Our border officials anticipate that they will need 20,000 beds to accommodate record number of child migrants coming across the border. A CDC draft memo says the situation on the border has grown dire and that officials need to be prepared to see an increase in coronavirus cases as a result. At this time, CBP does not have adequate space for physical distancing, quarantining of persons exposed to COVID-19, or isolation of ill or infected person, says the memo reviewed by Axios. As of March 1st, 2021, 4 CBP sectors are over COVID-adjusted capacity. The report, which was published on Friday, came at the same time that the Washington Examiner reported that the Biden administration was considering whether to rename the facilities to help the administration control the public relations side of the crisis, which is unfolding on their watch. Quote, Biden officials are considering naming these facilities reception centers, according to 3 people familiar with the discussions, on the logic that the name sounds less harsh. The name would distinguish the facilities, one of which has been set up in Carrizo Springs, Texas, from existing structures maintained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Refuge Resettlement. Images of one such Border Patrol facility led to criticism that President Donald Trump held children in cages. Often, other such buildings are called detention centers or holding facilities. One of the officials that the examiner spoke to said, quote, "These facilities are going up, but they've been utilized differently. The direction is very clear. Release them as fast as possible. If you can't receive migrants from a border patrol station, then release them there. Do it. If that area gets overcrowded, they're giving instructions to ICE to then bus them further into the interior of the United States." The crisis on the southern border has escalated to the degree that Democratic lawmakers whose districts are on the border have started to sound the alarm about what is going on. Representative Vince Gonzalez in Texas, a Democrat, said last week that Biden's immigration agenda was causing a crisis that will, quote, "be catastrophic for our party, our country, for my region, for my district, in the middle of a pandemic, and in an area where we have already lost over 3,000 people to COVID-19. Can anyone say I told you so? Gosh, it's almost as though all this rhetoric about how it's racist to detain people, all this rhetoric about how it's inhumane to not simply just let people willy-nilly into the interior of our country, has produced an influx of people who believe they can get in. My gosh, it's almost as though when Biden says that he's going to grant amnesty, that everyone rushes the border so that they can claim they were already here. Did you guys see that press conference where one of the news anchors asked Biden, "Have you been briefed on the border crisis?" And Joe Biden literally starts stepping away and walking away, and he says, "Yes, I have." He mutters, "Oh, yes, I have." And the reporter says, "Joe Biden, what did you learn?" As he's literally walking out the door, he goes, "A lot," and he keeps walking. He just leaves. He literally runs. But are they going to backpedal? Or are they going to turn around and say, "You know what, perhaps we actually need operational control of our border, and then we can let people in a controlled and measured way without incentivizing and empowering the drug smugglers, the human smugglers, the sex traffickers, and all the other nefarious actors that have operational control of the southern side of the border?" We spend billions of dollars a year on trying to deal with this crisis. The wall would have paid for itself in 1 year. Not only that, that's a job where people could actually get out in the sunshine, out in the sun, that, by the way, kills the virus, and work. That is a perfect infrastructure project for what's going on right now with so many jobs that have been shut down because of the pandemic. And I know there are some conservatives who say, "Oh, well, all government projects are blah, 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 blah." Well, sometimes you need to have government-funded infrastructure projects in a time of crisis. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of relying on government. I'm certainly not. What I am saying is that we need to have operational control of our borders. Guys, I've said it over and over. I'm actually an advocate of amnesty. I don't think we can go deport tens of millions of people from our country. I don't think it would be good for us. But you have to have operational control of your border first. Why? Because if you don't have border security, when you announce that you're going to grant amnesty, people rush the border so that they can claim that they were already here. So you accomplish border security. Joe Biden has put the human traffickers, the cartels, the drug traffickers, the sex traffickers back in business, and they're peddling in children. And then he calls it social justice. I don't know how else to say it. Frankly, these people are evil. The call-in number 970-587-5171. You can call in. Let me know what you think about these issues. It just breaks my heart, you know, because the biggest issue we're having this is according to Pew Research Center. This is an article titled "What's Happening at the U.S.-Mexico Border" in 5 charts. Border Patrol agents apprehended more migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border in fiscal year 2019. Oh gosh, no, this is from 2019. My bad. Sorry, guys. You know, I wish they would. Okay, this is according to Reuters. U.S. detained nearly 100,000 migrants at Mexico border in February, sources say. That's more than 1 million a year. And by the way, our Border Patrol officials predict that they probably catch 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. We're talking about potentially 3.5 to 4 million illegal immigrants pouring into our country a year. Oh, and our friends on the left, you can't call it a crisis. You can't do anything about it because that would be racist. These people are possessed. They're totally possessed. They have lost their minds. Totally lost their minds. You can't seriously think that that is sustainable. This is the highest monthly total since a major border surge in mid-2019. The figures, which have not been previously reported, show the scope of a growing migrant influx at the southwest border of the U.S. President Joe Biden, a Democrat, seeks to roll back some of the restrictive policies of former President Donald Trump, a Republican. February was Biden's first full month in office. Last month's total would represent the highest tally for the month of February since 2006. The sources who provided the figures to Reuters spoke on the condition of anonymity. An increasing number of children arriving at the border without a parent or legal guardian has forced U.S. officials in recent weeks to scramble for housing options and take steps to speed up their release to sponsors in the United States. The nearly 100,000 migrants detained at the border in February represent an increase over a figure of 78,000 in January. February's total appears to be the highest monthly number since June of 2019, during a large border surge that Trump cited as justification for a broad immigration crackdown. Fair enough. A U.S. Customs and Borders Protection spokeswoman said official statistics for last month will likely be released next week. U.S. Border Patrol agents caught more than 4,500 migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in a single day this Wednesday. You're listening to the Bucky Dillon Show.
Hi, everyone. This is Leah. Join me Monday through Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. for Leah Live, right here on 1360 KHNC. I'll look forward to it.
This is Sam Shook, Navy Vet and Medicare Specialist. I just want to thank the KHNC listeners for their support and trust in me as their Medicare specialist. If you are currently on Plan F, we are in a window of opportunity that can save you a lot of money towards your monthly premium. Please contact me at 970-413-4939. If you are getting into Medicare soon or are already enrolled and have questions, please call me at 970-413-4939. Again, thanks KHNC listeners.
Hi, KHNC listeners. Jerry Axum, real estate agent with Sears Real Estate. Established in 1972, locally owned, and our office is in Greeley. Growing up in Greeley, I am very familiar with the community and surrounding towns. I'd like to talk to you about your real estate questions, needs, or wants. Jerry Axum, 970-576-1089, 576-1089, or Jerry at SearsRealEstate.com.
Hi, Brian Kilmeade here. Thanks so much for listening to me every weekday from 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. right here on KHNC, the roar of the Rockies. Hey, do you own a business in northern Colorado or surrounding areas? Are you looking to reach a conservative, loyal audience which could grow your business? Well, take my advice and contact my friends at KHNC. KHNC has a rapidly growing conservative family-based audience, and you can speak directly to them. Now, if you're looking for the type of customers or clients that believe in the principles that our great country was founded upon, just contact my friends at KHNC, the roar of the Rockies, and learn how you can be heard right on the air. Just call 970-587-5003 or email on the air at 1360khnc.com. That's 970-587-5003 or email on the air at 1360khnc.com. Take it from me, Brian Kilmeade. You can showcase your business to the folks that are helping to take our country back.
Higher rates, lower rates, negative rates, bail-ins, bailouts, and so much more. You know why you need to own gold and silver. At the Patriot Trading Group, we're a different kind of company. We have no commission salespeople, no boiler room sales calls, no high-price spokesmen. We believe in treating you with honesty and respect and delivering you the best products at the best price. Buying or selling, call us at 800-951-0592 or go to our website at allamericangold.com.
This is Rick Rodriguez. Christ said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Join me every Sunday, 9 to 11 a.m. for the Olive Tree and Lampstand Ministry Radio Church on the new 1360 KHNC.
4,500 migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in a single day, Wednesday. According to government figures shared with Reuters, a sign that illegal entries could continue to rise in March. Republicans have criticized Biden for rolling back Trump's hardline immigration policies, saying the shift will lead to more illegal immigration. Duh. Kevin McCarthy, the top Republican in the House of Representatives, sent a letter to Biden on Friday that requested a meeting to discuss the issue, saying he had tremendous concern about the administration's approach to the border. We must acknowledge the border crisis, he said, develop a plan, and, in no uncertain terms, strongly discourage individuals from Mexico and Central America from ever making the dangerous journey to our southern border, McCarthy wrote in a letter. The recidivism rate among migrants attempting to cross the border illegally increased over the past year under a Trump-era policy known as Title 42. That policy, issued on public health grounds amid the coronavirus pandemic, allowed U.S. authorities to rapidly expel migrants caught crossing. In some cases, migrants attempt to cross the border again. Biden exempted unaccompanied children from the policy in February. 100,000. You would think that this would be something that basically all Americans could get behind, right? And we hear the left cry about children in cages. Oh, it's children in cages. Here's the problem. What are you supposed to do with them? When a child comes here completely unaccompanied, do you know why these facilities are so run down? Because Democrats refuse to fund them. Republicans have over and over and over tried to increase funding for the child facilities to make them a better place, to make them better situated to accommodate children. But the left loves pointing to children in cages and bashing Republicans with them, and the media won't show people the truth that the Democrats refuse to fund them and the Democrats refuse to stop the flow. In fact, they incentivize more of it. And they claim that they're not doing it for political reasons. I don't doubt for 1 second that they anticipate giving amnesty to people and giving themselves a permanent electoral majority in this country. Look how it's working out so far. They don't want to stem the flow. They love the flow. I'm going to get the phone line. I'll be right back. Sorry, callers. I have to trot in and out of the other room to get to the phone. So if you hung up because I didn't get there in time, feel free to call back again. You know, I say it routinely. There are only a handful of ways we can deal with a child unaccompanied or in the company of an adult who may or may not be their parent when they show up at the border. Number one, we just don't let them in. We just say, good luck in the desert, right? Obviously, we can't do that. We spend millions of dollars a year trying to figure out where they came from and sending them back. Tremendously expensive. Very difficult process. Very often they won't tell you where they came from. We're supposed to keep people at the border until they can go to trial to determine the legitimacy of their asylum claim. And then if they are found to have a legitimate asylum claim, we let them in. Otherwise, we send them back. That would be the preferred arrangement, right? For adults. But children's more complicated. So what do? Because you don't want to keep the child in the same type of facility that we keep the parents, and we don't want to make our holding facilities for adults daycares. Why do we separate the children from the adults? Number one, because outside of Asia, the number one place in the world for child sex trafficking is the United States southern border. And because of weak-kneed left-wing immigration policies, the human smugglers, the drug smugglers, the cartel, the sex traffickers, whatever you want to call them, are incentivized to bring a child, whether that child is theirs or not. Because it means that they have a significant chance of being released willy-nilly into the interior of the country. Because we don't have the infrastructure in place to keep up with the numbers. They are using these numbers against us. We are completely understaffed. How many Border Patrol agents would we have to have in order to chase around 100,000 illegal immigrants a month? Are you going to have 100,000 Border Patrol agents? Do you know how much that would cost? Part of the reason we separate children from the adults is because the cartels have operational control of the southern side of the border. Border Patrol agents are routinely finding children being recycled by the cartel. You're listening to the Bucky Dillon Show. 1360
Did the fire marshal take one look down your driveway and say, my guys aren't going down there? Or are there parts of it that just need a little more sun? Then call Affordable Tree at 970-568-6898. We can climb, cut, or trim your problems away, specializing in defensive space, upper and lower fire mitigation, forest health, plus we can save freshly hit beetle trees. So call us at 568-6898. That's 568-6898.
I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading.
Testing 1 2.
Everyone to make sure they are prepared financially as the Federal Reserve continues to destroy the value of the dollar. Since the closing of the gold window in 1971, the Federal Reserve has led the way in the